Painting goo 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 goo. Paint sip rad goo goo. I don't have the energy to sing the intro right now. Do 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 do. You filthy mortal scum can sing intro yourself. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. Where's my white music? Where's my white? Where's my white music? Calm Gregorian chant is quite white, but it's not what I'm looking for. Where's the white music? Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm tired today. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. I prefer the Orthodox chants anyway. I prefer my religious melancholies to be Orthodox. Painting goo. It's like Gregorian chants. I don't know who Greg is, but he can go fuck himself. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. I'm not even arsed. I'm not even arsed just like letting the intro music go. That's how tired I am. Just like, I'm just gonna stick classical music on and paint the spider. And the tribespeople. I have to make this guy not look like some kind of flayed corpse that's screaming. So let's do this shit. Happy White Wednesday, people. There's just something about hymns sung in subterranean deep Russian voices. Subterranean. That's hilarious. Painting goo goo. Oh fuck. I am knackered today, like. Lethargic-oo? Oh yeah, definitely, like. Did not get enough sleep. Painting goo 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 goo. Okay, let me see. Painting. Painting. I'm barely functional right now. Painting. Painting. These are like the two main bitches that I'm starting to really take care of because I use them so much. Proving that utilitarian ideology is seemingly too practical to be avoided. Why would I take care of those bitches when I could just take care of these two bitches? Those other bitches can go fuck themselves. Stiff, dry bitches. Painting. All right. Where's my royal rag as I place it upon my demi-divine knee? Okay. Oh. I recently tried to put like I have another two of these rags. Very handy. If you're ever going to become like, you know, artistically inclined and you're always using paint and stuff like that, a good rag is a must. But taking care of those rags, keeping them clean so that they're nice and useful, so they can actually function as rags, and actually absorb stuff, is another thing entirely. And I neglected two of them for a long time, and I just like gave them a fucking turpentine bath a while ago. Like, it's hilarious. One of them just became all like rubbery in the center because there was such a fucking build-up of acrylic paint in it. Like, there's this big patch of rubbery white acrylic, that Pebeo matte stuff that I have. It's slowly disintegrating. I always find that stuff fascinating, you know, like alchemy. It's just like something that looks like, from a distance anyway, obviously you can smell it, and like, you know, there's like an oily texture to it and stuff, but like, you could mistake it for water, you know. There's a possibility that it could be mistaken for water, because it looks like water, you know, it's clear, there's no distinct whatever, like, you know, unless you get close enough, like. And there's like other solutions like that where, like, you know, you'd be like, you know, oh, is that water? And you put your finger in it, and the next thing you know, your finger's missing. Or you're like suffering from third-degree burns, or like it like just like dries all your skin up, and it's like horribly painful for the next few months while your fucking finger like heals or some shit. Like, I miss watching Discovery Channel. Watching Discovery Channel was like equal parts educational and terrifying, because you'd be like fascinated by all the like beautiful and cool looking creatures and stuff that are like, a lot of them are essentially equipped with like tools that are designed to murder shit, you know. There's this guy, I don't know what he's called. I have to give him a shout out, actually. Here's my thing. Here's my YouTube. More Pars. Is that what his name is? Yeah. At More Pars. MOREPARZ. Is this Australian content creator on YouTube? Fucking hilarious. Or he's like, this snake is a fucking murderer. So funny, like. I love watching his shorts. His shorts are hilarious. I've always found like animal stuff like so entertaining. Like one thing I've noticed a lot lately is like how like I just anytime I see it's pretty much like any bird. Seagulls in particular lately. But like I just think birds are fucking hilarious. I love birds. Like they're just so, the way they move, the way they walk, because like, you know, they're designed to fly. But they can walk. But watching birds walk is just one of the funniest things to me. It's like I imagine like if a bird, like imagine a lot of when they have the Red Bull event. And there's like all these people trying to make these like, you know, vehicular contraptions that can like get up enough thrust and speed to like fly for a bit off the cliff. And like loads of people just like take a nosedive straight off the cliff. They don't even glide for a bit. The whole thing just like disintegrates the second fucking they leave the cliff, like. And I could just imagine like seagulls watching that event just being like in fits of laughter because they're like, oh my god, look at these fucking humans trying to fly. They're so funny. Look at them trying to fly and all, like. And it's not like obviously it's not exactly a 1-for-1 because it's not like birds are trying to walk. They are walking, you know what I mean? But like sometimes it kind of looks like they're trying to walk, especially when they start hopping around because like it's more like biomechanically practical than trying to walk. Just the way they walk is so funny, like. Seagulls have this particular like vibe about them that like they look and behave like absolute dickheads. They're like bullies to the other birds and stuff, like real mean looking. They're not like friendly and stuff. They're like thieves. They like steal chips out of your fucking, you know, kids' fucking hands and stuff, like. They're little bastards, like. Meanwhile, like when I'm like doing the garden or something and this like tiny little brown thing is like hopping around pecking up all the insects because I've like, you know, moved a lot of dirt or like, you know, fucking agitated a load of brush or whatever, or just cut the grass or whatever, like, you know. And there's just this like tiny little fucker that probably weighs like a few grams. Beautiful little things, like. Little birds are like adorable, you know. Really are. Like I have the same like emotional response to like little birds. Not all little birds, like, you know, some owls are quite cute as well, but they're like, you know, fairly large. But you know, like things like robins and little brown things and all, like. I think the little brown things are cuter than robins. I think robins are kind of beady-eyed. Little robin redbreasts. Like, they're still cute. But they're more, like, visually, like, impactful because of the way they look. Whereas, like, the little brown birds, they're not as visually impactful. They, if anything, you could miss the little fucker because he blends in, you know, depending on what he's, like, against the background kind of thing, like, you know, what's behind him. But I think they're way cuter. And their behavior is, like, cuter. They get really close to you, depending on, like, where the bugs are and stuff, like. Especially if you're just chill and you're not moving around a lot, like. That's one thing I always try to do is, like, I see how close I can get to a bird before it gets freaked out and flies away. I've always like, had a fantasy of, like, I'd just be chilling in a park somewhere and, like, a crow would, like, land on my shoulder and just chill. But obviously, like, what would probably happen is the thing would land on your shoulder and it would hurt, you know, because you'd be like, ah, oh, Jesus, those talons are, like, sharp, like, do you know what I mean? Unless you're wearing, like, a thick jacket or something, like. But if you're just sitting there in a t-shirt, you'd probably be like, oh, you little fucker, like, you know? And then it would probably shit on you, you know, and just wreck the vibe, like. OG Discovery Channel was goated. One of my yeah, you watch him too. He's one of your favorite Aussies. I had a feeling you'd watch him too. The crows I see on the highway amuse me. They'll be in one lane and they'll lazily walk to the side. Yeah. The way they like ducks waddle. You know, ducks waddle. There's almost like an elegance to a duck's waddle. But crows and shit, like, and some other things, like seagulls, the way they walk like they're awkwardly on stilts. I just find it incredibly amusing. It's a making me rough. Birdie making me rough. In many ways, I am a very simple creature. Let me see. Try and make this red a bit brighter. The acrylics, though, I think that's probably one of the benefits of oils is that the colors are like much richer or something, or because the acrylics do dry, or at least the gouache does. It dries darker than it is when it's like activated. Because on the palette right now, it's lovely and bright, but that'll dry quite dark. At least I think it will anyway. Like, try to put more like yellow. Orange in it, but I still want it to be red, like, do you know, like, I want it to be that vibrant red, which I'm finding hard to achieve, because like that's not vibrant at all. That's just like kind of like, if anything, that's kind of a dull orange. That's not what I want. Painting. I did say yesterday though that what I could do is I could go with this color here, which is just the base red that I have, primary red. And then what I'll do is I'll make the rest of it really dark, so it pops in the contrast. Like, that's what I could do. That's what I will do. I'll just give it a coat overall. I'll give it an overall coat of red, like a bright red, or the primary red, and then I'll try and make that look brighter by contrasting it with like very dark sections, very deep crimson sections. Paintingu. There's a certain texture that these paints get when you've already put down like a first layer. There's a certain texture it gets that is incredibly pleasing to paint on, because it's not just the bare paper, because the paper has that like friction to it. Whereas now, because I'm painting onto paint, you know, I'm painting onto a layer of paint, and there's so much less friction. So the paint almost goes further, you know, which is why I'm assuming that's why, like, one of the main reasons why people do like a primer or an undercoat or whatever. Because I've seen artists do, I think like an under painting or a layer, you could call it, of acrylic followed by a layer of oils. And that makes sense to me. You can get a layer of acrylic on. Gives you this nice base that allows the oils to just sit on top of it. And then when the oil cures... Now, I don't, like, you know, chemically, I haven't a clue how that works. Whether it's, like, something that is conducive to longevity in terms of, like, what you're painting or something. Obviously, I think it'd be really fucking cool if my painting views are around for, you know, decades or whatever, but they're just gouache on paper, so, like, it's not like it would take much for them to be destroyed or wear and tear and stuff, like, unless I kept them, like, you know, some kind of sleeve or glass case, maybe, I don't know, like. Painting good. Oh, my neck does get quite stiff painting at these angles. I need to invest in, like, you know, it'll be such a blessing eventually when I have the money to have, like, a professional camera that I can just aim at the painting and then put that on the screen and then, like, have a camera just, like, so at an angle facing me or something, so you can still see me do hilarious shit, see me do hilarious shit, say hilarious shit or whatever, or make funny faces at the camera or whatever like that, like, also looking ridiculous with top knot and kimono and headband and shit, like, but I don't have to, like, angle myself weird to, like, paint and shit, like, you know, without getting in the way, like. Old Bob Ross had it easy, you know, being able to do this shit in a studio with, like, proper lighting and fucking proper setup, like. I think that is one of the charms of this stream, though. One of the charms of this stream is that it's, like, just, like, totally thrown together, like. Obviously, it's less just thrown together than it was in the beginning, with props and all this shit, but, like, still, though, it's just hilarious, like. Alright, we got a bit of black in here. Okay, that just gave me brown. I should have gone with purple. Or blue. We'll darken with purple or blue, not black. Because we want it to be that deep crimson. Yeah, we'll try purple. Yeah, the purple's giving us a nice deep red. Try a bit of blue in there. Yeah, that's a nice, what would that be? It's not really a carmine. Get more red in there. I like deep reds almost as much as I like bright reds. Like, blood red is one of my favorite colors. There's just something so beautiful about the color of blood. It's like, sounds like a psychopathic thing to say. It's not, though. Like, it's just a reality. Like, there's something incredibly, like, captivating about the color of blood. Like, remember the first time I had a major injury or something, like, I think it was something on my knee or something when I was a kid. Banged my knee off a wall, and there was, like, quite a lot of blood, like, because the stones, like, completely broke the first few, I think, all the layers of skin, like, you know, just, like, I was sprinting and I slid into a fucking wall, and it was pebble dash on the wall, and, like, it was horrific. Like, the pain in the knee was, like, I'm surprised my knee wasn't, like, fractured or something, like. but there was a lot of blood running down my leg and stuff. And I remember one of the things I was thinking, I was like, it's so red. It's so like the cut, like especially for someone like me who's like pasty white, seeing such a bright, buttery fluid emerging from your flesh, you know, the contrast is intense. Where you're like, whoa, like all of that is inside me, like. I'll never forget that time I punched a fucking, it was like a glass door. We were in an abandoned house. And there was a glass door. It's one of those, like, you know, sliding doors that leads out to the back garden kind of thing. And I punched the thing. I tried to like pull the punch, like I tried to snap the punch out in an attempt to smash the glass without following through, so like I wouldn't shred my hand. And I kind of got away with it, but it's still like completely it was like a double paned. It's like two panes of glass with a gap in between. It was a double glazed door or whatever you want to call it. And like I shredded my hand, shredded it, like the amount, like I remember turning around, like I went like yeah, or so, like I made a noise, like, you know, like, and it was cool, like it was cool looking, because like it was like holy shit, like he just like smashed the whole thing. But then I remember just looking at my fist, and then there was like a good 3 or 4 seconds of like nothing happened. And I was like, oh, I got away with it. And then all of a sudden, it was like something out of an anime. Like, all of these lines just started randomly showing up in my hand. And then just, like, blood just starts seeping out of them. And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, wrapped my hand in my hoodie and walked home. I was like, fuck, I better go home and clean this, like. Birdie make Rife good. Yes, yes. It's the simple things in life, you know. Watching a seagull walk along the beach brings me joy, because I think they look funny, you know. I've always had a great love for animals. I love animals. They have that innocence about them, because it's all just like, you know, they don't have all these like sophisticated, convoluted nuances of life, especially everyday life, that we've like a lot of the stuff we've all just like, you know, made up collectively, and now a lot of people adhere to those things for various reasons, you know. But animals just do what they do. Typically. Obviously the reason we love dogs and cats is they seem to have, like, you know, more of a consciousness and a personality. Which is like, is that like innate to them, or is it a result of like us breeding them and like them being around us generation after generation, where like they almost have that like genetic memory or that learned behavior? So It's looking good, like, you know. I'm happy with it. Typically, animals are more trustworthy because they have no agendas. Yeah, like, that's what I mean, is they don't have all of the, like, other shit, you know. Ah, Grifu-sama! Welcome. Oh. Oh, glorious. Sumimasen. Second Reich? Second Reich? They probably did have much sex in the Reich. Second Reich? It's a hilarious typo. Oh, Christ. I got Brack in the red. PEINTEINGU. I'm enjoying painting this. Just taking my time with it. It's a hilarious painting. Part of me wants to quickly give these guys different hairdos like I did on the fucking the jigsaw Gatling gun car thing in the jungle. Give them all different. Like, what would be the funniest afro style that I could give this fucker? Like he's obviously quite jacked, but he's burly. Like, do you know what I mean? He doesn't have a six pack, and he's running away. Fuck, if we could give him like a beard and a fucking like. Part of me is thinking like we give him like I love, this is one of my favorite black hairdos. Is like the fucking column of hair. I fucking love this hairdo. It's like, yeah, it's like a black version of Paul Phoenix. It's one of my favorite hairstyles for like that you see blacks donning. It's hilarious to me. Man, I fucking love afros. Like when you see a black person that just has like a fucking like big bushy afro, just natural looking big bushy afro. I think that's like so fucking cool looking. Love that shit. PEINTEINGU, go, go, go. Ah, Iron Man Burrow, welcome. Microphone is looking particularly excited today. Yeah? I thought he looked hilarious yesterday. Because his eyes were like... Yeah, he looks really surprised today. Like yesterday he looked like... retarded. Hi, Siri hairdos for the Islanders. A Friar Tuck? Yeah, I'll do a Friar Tuck, yeah. Will I do it in this fella? I love how this stuff works. Like, it's just so easy to paint with, in the sense of like you could just put a vague impression or layer down, and then the next layer, typically depending on how you've, you know, watered it down or whatever, is just completely opaque. Like, and like the options it gives you in terms of like cutting into stuff and correcting things, because stuff is so opaque, it's just brilliant. Like, but even when you water it down and use it as like a watercolor, like you can just, it's so easy to draw with paint like this. It really is. Like, it's just like drawing to me. You're just like creating shapes, and after you create the general shape, you're just like sculpting the shape layer after layer. Like, give like what would be hilarious on this fella? It's like talking about like proper afros. I'll just give this lad like a. Perfect. We need to hold on. We need to give him a fucking like a lovely handlebar mustache now as well. Yeah. What you say, cracker? Like fucking. Well, I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember like the Shaft with fucking the movie Shaft with fucking Samuel L. Jackson actually being quite entertaining. Motherfucker! I fucking love Samuel L. Jackson. Dude's hilarious. Oh, fuck. Gonna need the skinny bitch. Will they sit there? Okay. Painting. This one's looking hilarious. There's a part of me that, like, I think I've said this before, but there's a part of me that would love to do, like, do you ever see those Warhammer scenes where there's like loads of shit going on, there's loads of different characters, like your man Thomas Elliott that used to work for Games Workshop. I follow him on Instagram. He's done a load of them where they have these, like, you know, typically they're landscape form because there's like it's a left to right of like widescreen shot of a battlefield where there's like loads of things happening. And part of me would love to do shit like that. Like I'll get a lot of those going because like scenes like this are so funny because there's so much stuff going on and there's so much variation. And they are kind of a commitment where they take a long time to do, even if they aren't like fine art and everything looks amazing in it. It's because there's like it's like doing a cartoon scene, but there's like loads happening, like, you know. And I love doing it. It's very enjoyable. Like when you start adding in like little details, like, you know, in the corners of things, and so you've the big main attractions, and then the longer you look at it, you're like, oh, look at this little goblin in the corner who's like trying to steal, like he's trying to steal something while everybody else is fighting or something, like, you know. It's like the ability to tell a story in one still shot, you know. You don't even need an animation or like a narrator or anything. Like you just look at the painting, and the screenshot of a moment that has been illustrated has enough data points and like visual information in it for you to discern like what has happened and what is happening or whatever, like, you know. I love shit like that. Like you just stand there for ages looking at them being like, it's kind of like Where's Wally? I used to look at those, like, even when you'd find Wally you'd be looking at those pages for ages because there's so much stuff going on. Like, there's so many characters and all. And brilliant looking. Like, I used to have so many books of the Where's Wally books. And me and my ma would sit down and try and find Wally all the time, like. And then there was like the bad guy, like Waldo or so, I can't remember. And I think the bad guy did just like have a mustache or something, I can't remember. Very funny, like. But there was always just so much going on in those scenes. And they're so fun and creative, like. And like they're not like amazing looking, like, do you know what I mean? They're just cartoonish, very simple. You know, they're not even like, you know, shaded typically or something, like, you know, it's like, it's just enough info in terms of like making it 3D and like showing what the character is doing and what the character looks like and all. Like, it's like, it was catching up on streams earlier on, and Owen was talking to Vox, and one of the things that Vox says is like, you know, the perfect is the enemy of good and all, like, and like that's so true. Like, the amount of times I've stopped myself creatively because I'm like, oh, it wouldn't be good enough yet, like I need to wait to be better, or like, it's all bullshit. Like, just do it, and then whatever you get out of it, however it goes, is your starting point, and that's where you're at, like, do you know what I mean? And then just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and like it'll just like automatically get better. Even if you have a shit attitude and you're like terrible at something, like repetition, persistence, it is fertile. Just like in a physics sense. It's fascinating. I think I did quite a good job with the guy on the ground trying to crawl away. I'm very satisfied with how his hand turned out. We're getting another layer on them so they don't look like they've been flayed alive or something. Right. Time to make some browner. Like, I'm thinking I need to do panels on the spider, you know, and rivets and stuff to like really hammer home the fact that it's mechanical or whatever. And I don't like the way that this leg is further away, but it's bigger than this one, so like part of me wants to follow the kind of general shape of this one, which would make it look more like this, and then this. It really is such a pleasure to just paint on this surface now. So smooth. Everything just glides along. And because the highly pigmented nature of the gouache, like, I love the fact that the image, it's like I'm like I've said this before, it's like I'm carving it's like I'm sculpting. And generally, like, I didn't think of painting like that, like, you know. But it is. It's very like sculpting. Painting goo goo. So that means that, like, you know, like, all the legs don't have to be the same. I suppose I could follow a different structure for the other legs if I wanted. Because part of me likes the spindly, you know, thin, lanky kind of... That's one of the things that makes spiders, like, kind of intimidating and creepy, is, like, how long and thin the legs are, like, sometimes, you know. That's why tarantulas are kind of cute, and jumping spiders, because they're, like, thick and furry. You know, they're more like a puppy or something, like... Whereas when something is, like, just like a hard carapace covered in like thin, spindly hairs, and it's like a long, very pointed, like kind of looks like an old man's finger, like, you know, like or like a zombie's finger, like, you know. Like Black Widows are fucking really intimidating looking, and they're tiny, but just the way they look, they're real mean looking, like, you know. But they're beautiful, you know. It's like tigers. Tigers are incredibly beautiful looking, but they're also like terrifying looking. I've always found that fascinating, like it's like the paradoxical nature of predators. Painting goo goo. The difference between doing something that's like organic, like flesh, and then doing something inorganic, like metal. It's another thing I find fascinating, where you just have these different textures and different, like, it's all, it really is just patterns, you know? Patterns and shapes and different changes in color and all, like, and when you look at it, I mean, you could boil it all down to just like sound. It's like, what do you mean sound? It's like, you don't see sound. Oh, I don't know. I think you do. I think you see the result of sounds that you cannot hear. Which probably sounds like I'm retarded, but whatever. I don't know. I don't think it is. Painting goo goo. Ah, Dick Fordu. Yeah, ah, zombie finger. Yeah, one of the more creepy things in life. A zombie finger. Yeah, like, whenever I have the money, I'm going to invest in trying to... Part of me wants to go back just to doing it straight onto the foam boards, but they take up a lot of space. You know, unless people were actually buying the PEINTEINGUs and I was, like, shipping them off every time or something like that. Like, they take up a lot of space, like they're all, like, 5mm thick. It's not paper. Obviously, it's not as bad as, like, having a lot of canvases lying around. But it's like it's almost as bad as having a lot of canvases lying around. The space to, like, keep all of them or whatever. But then there's also, like, part of me even thinks that it would be kind of cool to do a TikTok trend where it's like you'd have, like, all these PEINTEINGUs, and then I'd put up an Instagram thing or a TikTok being like, buy this or I'm going to destroy it. Because I don't have the room to keep them. And I can imagine you'd have people that are like, don't destroy it, I'll buy it. Because you're threatening to destroy it. Like, I thought about that before, where it was like, like a social experiment. Like, I think if like an artist like showed a painting, it was like, if nobody buys this, I'm burning it. Like, and then you'd have people that would pay you to burn it, you know, because they like, do you know what I mean? Like, because like I've just seen human behavior, especially in the internet, for years now, and I'm just like, people do weird shit, like, you know. And I totally agree that like the fucking the reality of like what you're actually engaging with typically when you're on the internet, like the amount of stuff that's fake, the amount of fake accounts, you know, like the rumor that like half, like 50% of all the stuff that you interact with on the internet is like bots or fake or whatever. Like I completely believe that. Like I completely believe that. Like it's because it would make sense, because it's like really unnerving in a sense that everybody's just like reacting to ghosts. But it totally makes sense. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Dude looks hilarious now. I need to mix a bit more brown and do their skin again. He seriously does look like he's been flayed alive in a sense. It's so funny. I'm really digging my new palette that I made for myself, where I like for weeks I was just using white, red, yellow, blue, and black. And you can totally, yeah, you can do a lot of shit with that. But like when you add in green, orange, like when you do the whole wheel, when you do at least the whole wheel, you get green, orange, and violet in there. The greens you can get by mixing the yellow and the green. The browns you can get by mixing stuff with orange. The reds you can get by using the purple. Like, it's just much more versatile, while still being a limited palette with not too much on it. Like, and just having them all in these little tubs. Like, I basically copied the technique, or not technique, the setup that I'm using right now. I copied from watching the documentary where they made Akira, where all the artists were in these little cubicles, and they all had like a palette of about 10 colors. So like they had a white, they had 2 reds, I think 2 yellows, 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 oranges, 2 purples, and a black, and maybe a grey or something, like, you know. And then obviously they'd have like other ones like gold or something like that if they needed something metallic or something. But they wouldn't be as common typically, like. But they just had all these pots in front of them, and they were just using the one brush, and they were just going from pot to pot and extracting just a small amount of paint and mixing it on like a plate or something, like a little palette in front of them, like, and then doing the whatever they needed to do, like. And it's just a really quick and easy way of being like, okay, I need this color, whack whack whack, put the color there. Oh, okay, now I need this color, whack whack whack, oh, and put it there. Like an incredibly efficient way of just being like, here's red, here's green, here's yellow, here's, and then like blending them and carving them and all, like. And it's just like this medium lends itself to that kind of creative process, because it's like it's quick drawing, it's opaque, so you can like correct stuff and all. Like, I love it. Like, I think it's great. Like, it's almost like it makes sense because like what they were doing was trying to create cartoons really quickly and efficiently. So like it totally makes sense. And if you're really good with your like, if you're really good with your shadow lines, which I'm not really good with my shadow lines. I'm okay. I know the basics of like the contours and the lines and stuff, and how stuff is supposed to look. I'm not well versed yet in faces. I'm much better at doing monsters and creatures and fantasy stuff than I am at doing like realistic humans. Which is a core part of becoming a truly capable artist, is like if you can do the human anatomy, then that's like a tool in your kit that grants you access to all of these other possibilities, because now you could just do a human, any basic human, and then add all the fucking mental fantasy shit after that, on top of that, or blend it with it, or whatever, like, you know. I'm not too far off it now, but I'm still in the cartoon stage, you know. Like, my ability to, like my fine art skills are wanting. I still get stuff wrong all the time, like proportion. Like my shadows do be like in the wrong place sometimes now, like. But that's what I was saying earlier about the whole thing of like, you know, the perfect is the enemy of good. I really do like that, because it's like it's so true that people like me can really procrastinate or get stressed thinking about stuff like that, where it's like, it's not good enough, it could be better, or whatever like that, like, you know, it needs to look like this and it needs to look like that and it has to be this particular way. And I have no interest in being obsessive about stuff. I know, like, when you're talking about like being great at something, it's like that's kind of what you need to be like, you know, and I get that, but I'd rather be like really fucking good and happy and content with being really fucking good than stressing about trying to be great. I think I think a lot of people these days worry too much about doing something, because the whole celebrity culture thing and all. It's like, I need to make a lot of money, I need to make it big, and I need to do, like, I've felt that. I've felt that where like I'm like, it's not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not making enough of a splash, like I need to be more impactful. It's not true. I don't have to be. You just do me. Just be good at doing me. Just be content. I've found great, like, genuine happiness, or you could call it like, just, I would call it content, like it's like a sense of being content and just accepting where I am and being grateful for it, and then doing my best to move in a general direction, you know. There's no use to you like stressing so much about trying to be something that you literally are not yet, you know. Sure, you could strive to be great, but if it's causing you an incredible amount of suffering, it's like, yeah, but that's what it's about. It's about the suffering. It's like life isn't about suffering. Life has suffering in it. That's not what life is about. Life is about living, doing, producing, making, creating. Yes, destruction and suffering is a part of life, but like, to say that like life is suffering, life is pain, That is in a sense true. But life isn't pain. Life contains pain. But life is not pain. Life is life. Life is the culmination of pleasure, pain, anger, sadness, joy, sorrow. What it is to be alive, what it is to have life, is to experience all of these things in harmony with each other, like, at any given moment. That's why it's the little things, it's the little everyday things that are like generally the most important, the things you have to be most grateful for. It's an illusion that we've been convinced or influenced in a way that like it's all the big stuff that matters, or it's all these like matters of morality and politics and all. It's like incredibly important and all this shit. It's like, it's not though. Those are the things that people bicker over all the time since the biblical times. People are just constantly bickering over the same shit over and over and over again because people can't just accept the fact that things are the way they are and people want the things that they want. You have a lot of people who want to change other people instead of changing themselves. And I get it. I mean, the idea of changing yourself is like, you know, the ego gets worried because it's like, but if I change, I won't be me. That's not true. You know? You'll still be you, but you'll be a different version of you. And like, you know, if you look at it like playing a video game or whatever, it's like you're not the same you that you are when you start playing the game. And that's a good thing, because it's called progress. Bidding war over the life of a painting is wild. Is it worth more alive or burned? Yeah, like imagine that. Like that's it. I'm telling you now. Like something like that would catch on. Like didn't they? I was only talking about the Carmines from this Gears of War series yesterday, where there's a character that had three brothers. There was Adam, Ben, and Clayton Carmine in Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. And they did that when they were coming out with the third game. They did a thing where they were like, so do we, because in the first two games Carmine got killed horrifically, and it was kind of like it was like a running gag in the storyline where it was like, I think in Gears of War 1 Adam Carmine got like sniped, and then in Gears of War 2 Ben Carmine got like horribly like eaten alive or like covered in acid or something. I think he was eaten alive. And then somebody like put him out of his misery or some shit like. And then there was Epic Games. It was actually a really cool thing. It was like a very good marketing scheme to like get people talking about the game and all like. But they actually did it where they were like, okay, like we're going to ask the audience, we're going to ask the fans, the consumer, do we do the same thing in the third game, and do we kill Clayton Carmine, or do we let him live? And I can't remember if they released, because I remember playing the game and I was like, oh, like, did they kill him, or is he alive or whatever? I think they tried to keep it on the hush that they decided to kill him, or, you know, or the result of the vote was to kill him or to keep him alive. So that when people played the game, you didn't know until like the end of the game. Because there's a moment where like he's in I think he comes in a helicopter in a minigun or something, and then the helicopter crashes. So it's like, okay, so he might be dead or he might be alive, and we don't know yet. Like, you know, I thought it was very good. It was very creative, intelligent, and it showed like an awareness of like what the fans and consumers like were interested in and wanted based on the first two games. Like, you know, and you just don't see shit like that anymore. Like, which is incredibly disappointing. Like, you know, because that's the best kind of stuff is where, you know, the creator of it. That's why I love doing this stream so much. You know, and I know it's from talking to you guys that's one of the things that you guys love about this is like all the mad shit that we've come up with like together, like during the process of it. Like even if it's just something as simple that like only really exists in a certain light, like the Xenoboon. You know, it's like that's not a thing. It's not like people are wearing Xenoboon t-shirts or whatever. Like, but it's a thing that we're aware of and that we made together and experienced together. And like sharks, every time I do a fucking shark in a PEINTEINGU, like it's just like a funny thing. Like, and now derpy birds, like like I'm doing a load of birds that just like look retarded and shit. Like, you know, that's like a thing we have now as well. It's like, I love that shit. That's the best shit. Like, inside jokes. Fucking collective, imagination and shit. Like. Like the hands on this guy look terrible. Like the hand on the one crawling away, this one here like looks very good. Like the proportion between the shoulder, the bicep, the forearm, and the hand at that distance. Like I'm satisfied with how I got that and all. Like, but that's just me. Like, you know, like a lot of people. That's what I think is funny is because there's people that would look at me and look at this, and be like, "Dude, you're like so good at art," and I'm like, "You have no idea. Like this is like." Relatively low level shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's one of the things that stresses me out, and I need to stop that. Like, I compare myself to like where other artists are, in terms of like level of skill and ability to produce something incredible looking. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh man, I've been doing this for 4 years, and like I'm still dog shit and all. It's like I'm only doing it 4 years, and I've gone from drawing abstract shapes, like I'm just trying to. Like, I'm sometimes not even having them be symmetrical or whatever, like, but I've gone from that to doing like this, and like I'm able to throw something like this together without even sketching it, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's, if I was to teach anything, if I was to teach art, like, that's what I want to teach people, is that like you have no idea how quickly you can improve to the point where like you can literally start making whatever the fuck you want, however you want, and like it's not that difficult at all. Like it's like, it really is the whole knowledge is power thing, where if you just know a few tricks of the trade, and if you become aware of certain rules and realities of the nature of what it is you're trying to do, or the vocation of producing art or whatever, like it's just like a combination of awareness and knowledge, you know. And that's why it's so sad that like I see where people are coming from, where it's like, oh, you're privileged, like you have access to all these things because you're white or whatever. It's like, obviously that's completely illogical for so many reasons, but it's because it's pathological, you know. Like if you come from a pathological, like if you empathetically or like if you try and sympathetically acknowledge that pathological point of view, it does make sense, where it's like, you know, because of their lack of perspective, and because of their, you know, if a horse has the blinders on, you can't blame the horse necessarily, like, you know. That's why I have compassion for people who like just think life sucks and stuff, because like I was there at one point, you know. It really is just a perspective thing. Like the frustration comes from then where you get to a place where you're quite content and you're happy with whatever happens in your life, because you feel like life is a blessing and you're trying to be grateful for things, but you're still surrounded by people who like are stressed out all the time about like stuff that you find retarded and, you know, pointless and shit. Like, Like being around people who are constantly stressed out, like can really fuck you up mentally. Like I know that from firsthand. Like years and years of being in like a fucking toxic home environment and shit like that. Like with a mother who was like still mentally recovering from a divorce and shit. Like it's a crazy, uh, a crazy life experience to have where like you're just in not nearly a decade, for about 8 years, like for the better part of a decade, just existing and not really like being alive, because if you were to be alive it would be more stressful because people would react. Right? So I do feel blessed these days to be able to just be me, and typically not have people just be like, bleh, which is like, obviously it is important to work on yourself and like how you speak to people and so on and so forth. But the frustration I face is that like I'm good at talking to people, I'm moderately intelligent and creative and funny and all of these fucking things, and like you would think that would grant me the ability to converse with a multitude of different types of people and like not have to worry about like truly like retarded idiotic things, because that would make sense. But we live in such a time where people are typically like really mentally fucked up, or like their sense of humor is like completely jacked because comedy's been dead for a while, corrupted and shit. Like, so it's incredibly stressful interacting with the inverted, especially those who don't realize that they're inverted, or they're in denial or whatever. Like you point something out to them and like you just can't get through to them. Not being able to communicate with somebody can give you a sense of loneliness that's quite it's quite depressing. Having people that you can it's why the bear community is like such a godsend. Like having the ability to just like talk to someone and not have them like one overreact or splurge out or like react pathologically, but then at the same time be able to have like long form conversations about like the most fascinating shit. I find it quite tragic that that isn't just like commonplace in society, that we can't just like create together and enjoy life, because a large majority of people are essentially caught in a dream that's also a nightmare. On the one hand, they enjoy the superficial status of social media and maybe like whatever their business provides them or something like that. But then on the other hand, like like it's just so glaringly obvious that like a lot of people still have like deep-seated trauma and mental issues and stuff, and the way they speak and the way they react to things and the things they say and the arguments they use. It is kind of like looking into an abyss of like all the negative aspects of human consciousness. So you need to like I've never been one of those dudes like those like woodshop where there's like fucking absolute fairy of being like oh, these past few days of looking at my phone and getting emotional because people are saying things I don't agree with or whatever, has been too much for me, so I'm taking a break. I must, and then making it like out that it's like some kind of like strong stoic gentleman that's experiencing this like high level of stress. It's like, don't get me wrong, I mean, yeah, it's like really fucking stressful and frustrating, and like to, especially if you have like a moderate intellect and you can like understand these like concepts and shit, like it's incredibly exhausting to interact with like a horde of like absolute retards who just bicker over like bullshit. But to use that as an excuse to be like, oh, woe is me, I must rest from this warfare, like, Jimmy, is so weak and gay. But on the flip side, guys like me who have a tendency to just like suffer through things, there does come a point where like you need to like acknowledge the fact that like the suffering isn't actually benefiting you. It's kind of like, you know, if you work out too much, it's like, dude, like you need to sleep and like hydrate and like eat stuff for a few days. Your body needs an opportunity to heal from what you've been doing to it. Like, you know, your stress levels are too high for too long. You need to like chill the fuck out. And that's where the ego comes in again. It's like, no, I must slay the dragons constantly for the next 10,000 years. Only then will I be a Chadicus Maximus. Like, it's like, I don't think the point of life is to like, it's the same thing. It's like the enemy of good is perfection. It's like, what is ideal? What's the best life? What's the best choice? What's the best thing to do? It's like, you don't know. Nobody fucking knows. Especially when it's relative, given everybody is like independent and maybe in similar situations, but at the end of the day, everybody's situation is completely and utterly unique, you know, because it's a combination of location, scenario, like a singular consciousness and perspective combined with all these like surrounding variables. And that's just like one person, you know, so it's like incredibly... That's why the grand design aspect of life is so incredibly mind-blowingly beautiful, because when you look at things from a meta perspective, you're like, oh my god, this is like kind of like a swirling mass of like, it's like a giant bioorganic clock. And then you get down in the weeds in a conversation with somebody about something to do with fucking politics or something, like, and you're just like, is this a waste of time? There's a part of me that's like, what a tragic waste of time to bicker over a construct of the mind, you know? Like, if you're the demons, if you're Lucifer or whatever, if you're the devil himself, or if you're the embodiment of evil, that probably is one of the most satisfying things to see over a long period of time, is like your ability to convince human beings to just waste time doing nonsensical shit. You know? Like, imagine that, like, in the grand scheme of things, the tragic, to the point of comedy, waste of time of, like, these guys who, like, get into crime young, end up going into prison, and then they get turned out by, like, you know, murderous gangsters or some shit like that. Like what a waste of time. Like, do you know what I mean? What a waste of life, you know? When you could be, like, doing something productive or good or love or lovely or nice or whatever, like, you know? Even just, like, trying to grow a flower, like, or some shit, like. Part of me wants to go dark for a sec to, like, give definition to this guy. I find this really fascinating, right? So, like, one of the best ways to make these very luscious chocolatey browns is mixing orange with blue, right? and in the Irish language, Gaeilge, how you would say a black person or black people is Dini Gurama, which actually directly translates to blue people, because the word Gurum is the color blue. And obviously in English we call them black people. But when you look at it, like, they're not black. You know, they're obviously not black. They can be incredibly dark brown, you know, to the point where they're almost purple. But how funny is that we describe them as like, that nigga's so black he's purple, you know? And purple is quite close to blue because it's the combination of red and blue makes purple, you know? And what's red? White people are quite red, you know, because like if they get sunburned or if they blush, you know. Remember in Blade 2, can you blush, you know? Like, I find that shit fascinating, where it's like it's one of the reasons why it's so incredibly frustrating for me to not be able to have just like a free flowing interesting conversation with people. Because I just talking about the most like obvious simple stuff to me can be incredibly cathartic. Like, it's kind of similar to like the way a comedian relieves people's stress by, like, you know, making jokes about stuff that they relate to, that they find true, you know, like the whole fucking, you know, don't you just hate it when blah blah blah, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's so true. Like, I think it's funny that many people have turned around to me and been like, Jesus, like, you could like you can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. I can't do that. And I'm like, why not? Like, what's on your mind? What are you thinking about? Like, what do you like? What do you not like? What do you what's your opinion on something? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then that's what I think is so tragic, is like people have gotten to the stage now where they can't express these things because they might offend somebody or some shy, or they might feel that like they don't want to be judged or something. Like, you know, it's like, it's so sad. Like, sad in a pathetic way as well, like, in my opinion. Like, I think it's quite pathetic that a supposedly advanced, like, you know, species can't even fucking talk about shit, honestly. Like that in itself is like a demonic inverted joke, isn't it? You know, oh look, an iPhone, and in the same breath is like, did you just say nigger? Oh my god, destroy his life. Oh my god, make him out to be an evil person because he said a word. Meanwhile, other people could just be like white boy like all the time and nobody says shit, like, you know. So you have the whole blatantly obvious examples of like the definition of hypocrisy, you know. So it's like, no wonder everybody's like so stressed out and fucked up and like like mentally dysregulated, should we call it, you know? It's just... I find it incredibly frustrating being able to see why something isn't working and then not being able to implement a solution, and just having to like witness people like fuck shit up and waste shit when it doesn't have to be that way. Now, obviously, like, you know, you just have to, like, accept it and be like, yeah, well, like, I can't control these people. I can only control myself. So on and so forth. But because of the fact that I have empathy and I have, like a love for other human beings, it's, like, stressful. Because it's, like, kind of similar to, like, what I'd imagine a parent feels, where it's like, oh, buddy, I love you, like, but, like, watching you fuck up, like, you know, hurts me, like, because you just won't listen to me, like, or something, you know. It's like an incredible relief when somebody listens to you and their situation improves. Like, it's funny, Demon Hunter's missus, I've, like, given her advice about how to play Battlefield 5, and she's gotten, like, really good, like, to the point where she's, like, doing better sometimes than me and Demon Hunter do in a match, like. And, like, that, I can imagine somebody that would be like, oh no, like, she's good now, like, fuck, I shouldn't have told her anything or something. But I, like, when I realized that my advice had actually worked, you know, and she had listened and taken what I had said on board and then, like, done stuff about it to improve and improved, I, like, felt a sense of pride. I was like, that's awesome, like, you know, that's really cool that, like, I said something and it had a positive effect. Like, that's an incredible feeling. Like, I can only imagine what Owen feels like when somebody's like, bro, I, like, have a kid now. Like, it's, like, wild, like, it's such an honor, like. And it's mad that, like, these days that's not more common, like, you know. You'd think with, like, the internet and stuff, and, like, because everybody has, like, easy access to each other, despite distances or whatever, that we would be creating these incredibly, like, diverse and sophisticated, like, networks of like-minded individuals. Like, you'd think Bertaria, what Bertaria is, would be, like, commonplace because it's the intelligent thing to do, you know. But because that's not commonplace, and indeed it's the opposite in a lot of ways, it's, like, tells you the kind of timeline we're in, or the kind of paradigm we're in, where it's like, like, a lot of people are, like, they're very dark, very, very dark. And it's not that I don't know that a lot of it is, like, you know, trauma, broken homes. A lot of it's, like, a lot of it has been done to us, in quotes. But then a lot of it hasn't, which is, like, kind of the trick as well, isn't it? It's like, well, technically you had a choice. It's like, yeah, but if I'm influenced from birth in such a way that I'm not even aware of it, like, that's not exactly fair, is it? Like, you know. Threatening to destroy your creations if they aren't bought sounds like a fun way to sell what you have. Hold a lighter up to one and wait to see who buy. Yeah, like, I think it would be a highly offensive painting could make a fortune. PEINTEINGU Holocaust. No, like, yeah, like, you know, like, I can imagine, like, oh man, like, anytime PEINTEINGU and Holocaust comes up at the same time, like, anytime I'm thinking, like, Nazis or something, or Hitler, like, and PEINTEINGU, I really, 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 really want to do the Nazi general episode of PEINTEINGU, where I'm like, "Hallo, meine Lieben," and I paint, like, a fucking German Shepherd or something. Jetzt wir machen ein Hund. You know, like, it. I just think that's, like, fucking hilarious. Like, you know, it would be visually funny. It'd be fun. You know, like, obviously people would find it offensive, but the type of person to find that offensive, like, sucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very, like, that's why I love Owen's streams so much and his sense of humor so much, because it's like, if you don't think that's funny, like, that's crazy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how is that not funny? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so offensive. It's this, that. It's like, no, it's not, though. You're just brainwashed sheep. And it is, it's like, you get to the point where you're like, I don't hate you because you're a brainwashed sheep. Do you know what I mean? Because like I don't necessarily blame you. Like I have compassion for the fact, but it's like there's also that sense of like, well, if you don't choose to like become more aware and like, you know, figure shit out and like know in any given moment that like to the best of your ability you are aware of the truth of the matter, like that's on you then. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I know that's on me, because like that's why I wouldn't make certain claims, and that's why I'm comfortable saying like, I don't know, I haven't got a clue. Like I'm comfortable being ignorant, which I think is a thing that like a lot, like the whole people don't like to be embarrassed in public, and people don't like, you know, feeling shame or being wrong, and they fear failure and all these things. Like I've said this loads of times in the stream, that like fucking up is like fun. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're running and then you fall and like you fuck yourself up and you get up and you're like, oh my god, like I'm covered in blood and I broke my fingers. You know, there's an element of that that's like, oh shit, he like wrecked, you know, like, and like if you were able to watch it back in slow motion, like I've had moments like that where like you fuck up and you get hurt and you're like, oh man, oh Jesus, like that was so bad or whatever. But within a few minutes, you look around at one of your friends and you're like, did you see me fall? He's like, yeah, bro, like you look like a starfish, like you went up in the air, you're like, it was wild, like you look like a ragdoll and all, like, and you're like laughing about it because like the visuals of that are hilarious. Like it's like the people who can't laugh at themselves, the people who can't like see themselves from a third person perspective and go, that was hilarious, I can't believe I fucked up that bad, like need to grow up. They need to like that's not a good thing. Like you need to be able to look at yourself and go, I was a retard. Like I love that aspect of me, which is why I think people generally like me, is because like I will go on like I'll just be me, and then if I fuck up, I'm like, I fucked up. Like, you know, it's the best way to be. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like I'm like, because there are people like I can only imagine how fucked up your life would be if like even the smallest fuck up and you get like incredibly neurotic about it. You know, oh my god, no, oh now this is gonna happen and now this is gonna happen, and like, oh I shouldn't have done that. Like it's like, shut the fuck up and just like keep going. Like clean up, start again. You know, like, oh but now it's gonna take longer, and I was like, oh like. I hate that, like, just keep going, you know, like, just try again, just put another arrow in the bow and shoot again, like, you know, it's like, oh, but no, I have no arrows left, go pick up the arrows that you fired, like, oh, but that means I have to walk over there, and I'm tired, and it's like, there's no point, like, there's certain people that just, like, find something they find something uncomfortable enough about any given scenario where they're like, no, like, I don't want to do it because of X, you know? And like, don't get me wrong, like, I've been there. I've been like, no, I'm not arsed, you know? And then people would be trying to like convince me or like egg me on or like, you know, fucking twist my arm into doing something, and I'm just like, nah, just like don't want to do it. Like, you know, I get it, like, which is why, having been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, I'm like, no, just like do shit, just keep doing shit. Like, and quite like it is very true, like it sounds like cheesy and stuff or whatever, but it is very true that quite like it's almost guaranteed that if you just try and get comfortable in situations, scenarios, positions, mindsets or whatever, moments, you try and get comfortable in those things that like you are incredibly uncomfortable in, you know, like, oh, I don't like this at all. Like, it's like, yeah, but why though? Because this and this. All right, well, like, is that really like a good reason to not do something? Like, to me, it's like I was saying earlier on in the stream about life. It's like, just live, just do stuff, like fuck up, do shit wrong, make mistakes. You know, like the whole fucking train spotting thing of like, choose life. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, life is the blend of chaos and order, where like there are those moments where chaos is running rampant and order hasn't shown up yet, or like there's those moments where things are so ordered, they're boring. Like, to me, it's like, it's hilarious and fascinating, but also quite frustrating to me that it seems like so many people these days just don't get it. It's like, what is it? It's like, out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like, what is the answer to life and all? It's like, but like, what do you mean? What is the question of life? You know? What is the answer to the mystery of life? Mystery of life? What do you mean mystery? Like, sure, there's mystery because you don't know stuff. You know? What's the name of that flower? What is that weird creature over there? Where am I right now? I've never been in this part of China before. Like, of course there's mystery. But, like, the mystery of life? You know? What mystery? You're here. Now. You're hungry. Eat something. You're horny. Try and find somebody to shag. like, that's like the basic shit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, that's the stuff that you learn when you're a child and a teenager. Is like, I'm sleepy. I should sleep. But I don't want to, because I want to do this. Yeah, but if you don't adhere to your body's wishes to at least to a degree, then you're going to start to, like, you know, regret it, like, because of various reasons. Like, you know, I want to eat all these sweets. Yeah, well, you probably shouldn't, because, like, your tummy will fucking tell you otherwise. Like, you know, it's like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. My will is my will. Like, you know, like, I'm going to eat all the gummy bears. Like, an hour later, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's why I think kids are hilarious, because it's just like will, you know, it's just like, I'm gonna do this, and then it's like that. You ever see that clip of that kid that's just like covered in peanut butter or something? Like, you know, like, is that nice? You know, like, it's just like completely, like, head to toe covered in peanut butter. Like, it's just like so funny. Like, is that nice? Like, oh man, kids are hilarious. Like, and I'm out of coffee. What time is it? A highly offensive. Oh, I already read that one. White people are the only people of color. Yeah, like, the Owen song is hilarious about that. Like, and it's so true. We're blue, we're purple, we're yellow, we're green, we're grey, we're white. Not like, we are the people of color. Like, black people can't even blush. Like, oh man. There is, like, I love that argument though, that it's like whites were clearly made in a lab somewhere because, like, we're literally allergic to the sun. Because, like, that does make an incredible amount of sense. It's like, well, why would a creature exist that can't, like, just, like, be out in the open for an extended period of time? But then when you actually look into, like, that's why I love the Discovery Channel so much, because you learn so much from observing nature. And one of the things that you'll observe from nature is that, like, all animals instinctively know that, like, too much of anything is bad for you, you know? Like, even an anaconda that, like, swallows a whole fucking deer can sometimes be like, uh-oh, and, like, throw the whole thing up, you know, like, which is a wild thing to watch. You know, like, watching a snake regurgitate a meal is just like, good God, great, googa mooga. Like, Mazel tov, it's a boy. Like, it's fucking disgusting looking, like, just this, like, half digested corpse of a deer with its, like, eyes still open. Like, oh man, I think it's hilarious that you could, like, as a young child or a teenager, you could be watching the Discovery Channel, and, like, it's just, like, in the middle of the day, and you're watching, like, a lion, like, eat a deer ass first. You know, like, or, like, suffocate it, like, do you know what I mean? Just, like, has the thing's head and is just, like, nanging on its face. and the deer's just like, ah, ah, you know, like you'd be sitting there watching and be like, oh my god, that's horrifying, like, you know. But it's like, it's not like Animal Planet is like rated PG for 13 or whatever, or like G for general, like, you know. It's like it's just on in the middle of the day, because it's the same thing that like with National Geographic that Owen pointed out with the whole like, you could just have black people, black women with their breasts out, because it's like they're considered like fucking animals. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you're literally observing them as if they're not, like, you know, they are not civilized like us, you know. It's like, but they're humans. Like, they're just still like, they're not like, they haven't done the things we've done or experienced the things we've experienced, and they don't speak the same language that we speak. So obviously there's gonna be a load of like, you know, the whole bottle of Coke thing, like gods must be crazy shit and all. Like, that doesn't mean they're stupid though. Like, I've said that before, where it's like, these primitive tribal people, you know, exist in what, like, in the same sentence, like you're saying these primitive tribal Kalahari Bushmen exist in one of the harshest regions in all of Earth, and it's like, so hang on a minute. You've just acknowledged the fact that these people have managed to scrape out a living for generations, for however long a period of time, you probably don't even know. So they've existed and survived in one of the harshest areas in the known realm, and you're going to call them primitive? That doesn't make sense. That literally doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, sure, from the angle of like, well, our technology is much more sophisticated. You know, I have a compound bow, you know, with aluminium ribs and all this fucking shit, like, and it's like, so, I mean, this guy is wearing a nappy and has like a stick with a bit of string on it and another stick with a bit of like whatever that fucking poison is, and he, like, you know, just like nicks the fucking ibex, and it prances away for about a kilometer and then falls over because it's paralyzed, and he just like brings the thing home and butchers it and gives it to his kids. Like, it's like you can't tell me that's primitive. That's incredibly creative and resourceful, and like, you know, all these things. And it's the same, like, I've heard it's the same with like even captive like orangutans and stuff, where like orangutans are like incredibly intelligent and they teach each other things and all this stuff. Like, so like, even if a monkey can learn how to like measure the depth of a river with a stick, you're going to do other human beings the injustice of like looking at their like bows and their like huts in the thing you just acknowledged as an incredibly harsh environment. Like, so even with your, you know, advanced technology, like the vehicle you're in and the sun cream you have and the phone you possess and the satellite feed you have going through the radar in the back of the fucking van or whatever, like, you're saying from your perspective, your technologically advanced perspective, your non-primitive advanced perspective, that the environment that they live in is incredibly harsh, which implies that you wouldn't be able to live in that environment unless you had the like, do you know what I mean? It's like if you dropped David Attenborough and his fucking camera crew in the Kalahari Desert and was just like, all right, live, they wouldn't be able to do it. So in that relative context, they would be completely primitive and useless monkeys naked in a desert, because the Kalahari Bushman knows exactly how to survive and where to dig for the roots, what poison to put on his arrows in order for the thing to, like, whatever, like, you know. It's so funny to me, like. And here we see the women with their elongated necks, all this shit, like, literally observing them as if they're like an alien species, like, do you know what I mean? When it's like, that's where we all came from, you know, was like, as far as I could tell anyway, like you go pick a culture and go back in time, and there would have been a point in time where that nation or culture or tribe or whatever, you know, I mean, was Prometheus like Santa Claus, and did he, like, you know, fucking go to different tribes and be like, this is fire, this is, like, you know. It's like, it's so funny to me that, like, We're kind of weird. We're kind of living in a weird time that's like a digital version of the Library of Alexandria, where there's all this information available, but fuck all of it is like trustworthy, because the sources and shit like. So you're kind of like, so what do you believe in then? Because it's like your ability to know stuff is incredibly limited actually still, because you don't have access to the source material or the materials in general to like even perform like your own experiments to a degree. So you just have to trust in the experts, quotes, you know, that they're like telling you the truth of the matter, like, which is my German side finds that incredibly unreliable and inefficient. Like, it vexes me. Playing Wagner the whole way through the episode of Nazi Goo would be so funny. Yeah, like, oh man, it'd be brilliant. Like, so fucking funny. Like, and like the moment I have the resources to, like, the moment I have the expendable income to get myself like a decent looking Nazi general uniform, I'm fucking doing it, like, you know. And like I've said it loads of times that like slowly over time, I'd love to build up like a collection of different characters that I could perform PEINTEINGU as. I think that would be incredibly entertaining. Yeah, I kind of want them to have like yellow accents here and then maybe like down the middle, like so. And then we'll have like yellow things there. Put a yellow accent on the cannon somewhere. I'll probably have to go in with white to like really make that pop at a certain stage, but like I said before, one of the things I love about this painting style is like quite often you could just be like, you could just place something very vaguely and be like, yeah, I'll fix that in a bit, like. Stabaru was saying that it'd be cool if it was like a web cannon. And part of me agrees, because I think if I do like a muzzle flash effect here of it firing, like it's just been fired, and then here this guy running away, I'd put like a web mid-fly, like he's shot a net at him. Yeah, that's why I was going to do luminous green, yeah. But then the eyes are yellow. Because what I want to do is, like, because of the accent color, like, this is my kind of, like, design OCD brain, where, like, the internal energy color, the accent color of this spider is currently yellow, which aesthetically looks nice, you know. But if I was to do a yellow net, you're not going to see it, you know. So you want to do a net that like really pops. And like an luminous green net probably would pop. And the more I'm thinking of it right now, like what would really fucking pop would be something purple or pink. So like part of me is thinking that I could do the whole thing yellow and do a pink accent. That might be cool. This is similar to the Hive, the big painting I did on the deep canvas there. Like that took me like 9 months. Where like it started at one color and looked a certain way, and then when I ended up changing it, like I changed it like 3 times, and it looked like completely different to when it began. I wouldn't be surprised if the spider ends up being the same. Because now I'm thinking, like, because I want to cast a net onto this guy here, I'm thinking the most standout color that I could put here would be like a luminous purple or luminous pink. So if that is going to be the accent color of the spider, luminous purple or luminous pink, then what's going to be the primary color? Because luminous purple or luminous pink would clash with this current primary red color. And I'm thinking yellow. Yeah, like yellow would be good, or I could do orange yellow with an accent of like pink or purple. Would probably look quite cool. But it's been 2 hours now, and I'm not gonna do that right now. So we made a decent amount of progress today. You know, the main thing we did today was add the hair. The most noticeable change that we made to the painting goo today was adding the hair to the tribesman. The Friar Tuck one looks hilarious. I ended up giving him a huge nose. Have to say though that like the afro nigga with the handlebar mustache in the background, who's going to be holding a spear, I think he's currently my favorite. Not just because of the afro and the shape of his head and jaw and the handlebar mustache, but because he's also like weirdly short and stocky. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm genuinely really enjoying painting this, because I just think it's like, it's one of those ones that's like the perfect blend of like simple, but like there's a few things happening. Everything is like spaced out nicely. We got a decent, like semi-decent background or whatever in, like you can tell it's an island, you can tell it's on a beach. You can tell it's a giant spider with a cannon or whatever chasing a couple of tribal lads, like, you know. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'd say this one would be pretty fucking cool when I'm finished it, like. I'm gonna leave it there. Ugh. Fuck me, it's warm. Right. I will return tomorrow. What day is tomorrow? Thursday. What's Thursday? Tribal Thursdays. Right. Well, that fits. We're gonna be doing tribesmen trying to escape a giant cannon wielding tarantula. So tribal music definitely fits. God, I'm tired. Right. I hope today wasn't too low energy for people. I know some people like the chill ones. I do. I really like the chill classical music ones. Especially when I'm tired. I can just like take it easy and I don't have to worry about, like, you know, trying to be high octane or whatever to match the vibes in the music. But I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 4 PM tomorrow. We're going to be doing tribal music. And yeah, I'll probably switch up the colour on the spider tank. Instead of red with yellow. I I think we can make it like bright yellow or kind of yellow and orange, yeah, like a yellowy orange, and then with like violet or pink eyes and accents, and have like a violet or pink, plasma net or something mid-flight being cast at this guy being running away here. But yeah, so far so good. Oh shit! I didn't do the phrase of the day. I'll end with that then. My bad. I was so chill. I was so chill and so in the zone that I completely forgot to do the phrase of the day. How dare I? Right. Tobias, my feathery friend. We have a phrase to announce. And it's a good phrase. There was 3 of them. I thought it was hilarious where I was like... I thought it was so funny the way it was like... That phrase was terrible. You will be punished and all. Like, and then I wake up today and there's like 3 of them sitting in the chat. Sent me like 3 of them. And like all 3 of them are decent. Part of me was like, maybe I should just call your phrases shit more often now and then get better ones out of you. Anyway. Was that too loud? Am I too close now? I'm wondering how, like, I need to watch the volume. Hold on a sec. Yeah, like that looks like it's peaking. Shut up. But anyway. Phrase of the day. It's so obvious how tired I am today. Like, I just couldn't give a fuck. Like, oh god. Those who cook bacon shirtless understand that pain is temporary and grease stains are eternal. I like that one. Made me laugh, like, in particular because like I've done that. Like I've like done like a stir fry or like I've like fried up a breakfast or something, like sausages and bacon and eggs and shit like that. Like both barefoot and like topless, and I've gotten like sorry, all I hear is ringing. What? What you say? Like, how funny would that be if I accidentally made like the 6 people listening to the stream one day fucking deaf just by ringing it? Like, it's time for the phrase of the day, and like Griff like crashes his truck. Fucking Demon Hunter fucking like loses control of the fucking power washer and like accidentally like sprays the fuck out of a customer or something. Like, Stabaroo crashes in the warehouse on the forklift. Like, it's just mass chaos all stemming from everybody listening to my stream. Like, fucking hilarious. I've gotten like grease burns on my feet and like forearms and my chest and stuff. Like, I say grease burns, like, not really. Like, there's been like the worst I've ever had is like a temporary like red mark, you know. I've never like gotten like a big dollop of like, you know, cooking hot oil and or butter, or like typically I cook with butter, so I don't like that. Probably does make a difference, because like I've seen how quickly some shit cooks when you like dip it in cooking oil that's like, you know, of the right temperature or whatever, like, and sometimes it's like instantaneous, whereas like cooking in butter, although I've never like deep fried something in butter, you'd need a lot of butter to do that. Like, can only imagine how like amazing that would taste if you just had a big vat of real butter and melted it and had it like not boiling but like simmering, and then you just dipped a whole chicken Just had a chicken, the whole chicken on a stick, and you just dip it into like boiling hot butter, like deep fry the whole thing in butter. That'd probably be the best chicken you've ever had in your life. Oh man, right. I need to figure out a better way of like I don't know what to put here to one make the background more visually pleasing, and two like put Boris and Tobias back up, because I don't have any like furniture or anything that I could like arrange or some shit, or a table or anything like. Oh, it's fucking mad annoying like. But I do prefer this I do prefer this setup for many reasons. And I think it's hilarious that like after all this time of trying to get better webcams, all the webcams that I've gotten that I can plug into the laptop, um oh, excuse me, they're of significantly lower quality than the actual camera that's just on this fucking laptop. I just find that hilarious. You know, so typical. Because I think visually, as far as the colors go, the last few streams that I've done with this setup, as far as the colors go, are like far superior. Far superior. But anyway, now I'm just rambling. And if you do it in the buff, at least put on an apron. Yeah, like getting a hot splash on your cock would quickly convince you to at least go Tarzan style, you know, like that would be so fucking funny to like cook dinner like in a loincloth. uh Butter fried whole chicken sounds orgasmic. It fucking does, yeah. Fucking salivate and think about it. But anyway, right. Much love to all y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same high octane painting goo energy. I just think that's hilarious. He says in an incredibly monotone and low energy, like, okay, guys, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, same high octane painting goo energy. You've never watched paint dry like this before. Like, right, I'm leaving. Goodbye.